What is up, guys? 70 Savage here. Today we have a very exciting day. This is the final step in our entire van build. If you are new to the channel, I have been converting this Sprinter van right here into a full-time tiny home. We have been documenting the entire project along the way. All the plumbing, there's videos on the sliding bed system, there's solar panels on the roof. I'm like Oprah, you get a video, everyone gets a video. So if you are building a van yourself, or you're just interested in van life and want to see how one of these things is built, definitely go check those videos out. Let's go ahead and get into it. So in part one of the video, we built this shower pan right here. This might not look like a shower pan at first glance, it looks more like a box. That is correct, because since it looks like a box, I can store stuff on it. But the coolest part about this box is all you have to do is pick up this ABS lid, slide it down into the side, and that exposes the shower pan itself. So the shower pan is actually very, very simple. There's only a couple of different mechanisms in here. The first one is the mixer. It goes from hot to cold and obviously on and off. And then there's the shower mixer output that goes to the shower hose and eventually to a shower head. All you gotta do is turn the water on, and then there's a little on and off switch on the shower head itself, so that I effectively have a full-on shower that I can use. The water that falls into here drains out through this drain hole and into the gray water tank underneath the van. So at the end of part one, I actually opened up the floor to you guys and asked you, how the heck am I gonna make a shower curtain? I gave a couple of examples of ideas that I had in my head already for different ways that I could possibly make the shower curtain work. I was honestly not sure what to expect in terms of whether or not that would be successful, if many people had ideas or wanted to share them. But I am so stoked with the amount of responses that you guys gave me with all of the ridiculously creative ideas that you guys posted. I think next time I build a van, every step that I do is going to be asking you guys for ideas on how to do it. So thank you to every single one of you guys who shared your ideas with me. One of the many great ideas that you guys shared with me was actually this thing right here. This right here is a collapsible camping shower that you can buy on Amazon for around 30 bucks. So this freestanding camping shower is something that you would normally use if you were just going out and camping not in a van, but it actually is a pretty good idea for something that could potentially work inside the van itself. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this thing works. So all you gotta do is pull it out of the package, you take off the strap, you spread it out, and kapow, you got yourself a full-on standing shower. This right here is the benefit of having a YouTube channel right next to an airport, pretty much World War III every day. And so the idea is we would place this inside of the shower pan and not need to drill any holes in the ceiling. We wouldn't need to have any sort of mounting mechanism at all. It would just be 100% freestanding. America, land of the free. So I actually think the coolest part about this camping shower is how it breaks down. You flip this side in, you pull this side together, and then you just push it on top of itself, and it almost magically turns back into the original shape that fits back into the original package. Let's go ahead and see how it looks inside of the van. So unfortunately, it is an absolute monster. This is obviously not gonna work. That being said, these are freaking awesome, and if you are going camping, I highly recommend that you actually buy one of these things. So I will put a link to this portable shower curtain in the description below. It's a bummer that idea did not work out, but there was another idea. The basis of this idea is pretty similar to the idea that I shared with you guys in part one with a shower rod and attaching it to the magnetic ceiling here. Based on some feedback from your guys' comments, I realized it actually might make more sense not to have a shower rod at all and just directly mount the curtain to the roof. So that's the next thing that we are going to do. Now I need to do some thinking and figure out how the heck are we gonna make this. All right guys, so in between that last clip that you just saw and now, it's been about 2 months. The whole coronavirus epidemic just started spreading. It took forever for my fabric to come in. The only van related news between then and now is that my hair is finally long enough for a full-on man bun. I feel like I have earned my badge of honor into the van life community. So here we have the fabric that took quite a while to come in from China. It is a ripstop nylon. But on one of the sides of the ripstop nylon, the side that's showing right now, there's a slight polyurethane coating, so it is water resistant. It's not full on waterproof. I believe if you were to leave this like out in the rain and build a tent out of it, over time the water would eventually seep through, but it's supposed to be water resistant enough to prevent water for short periods of time. Ripstop nylon is actually a very versatile material. It's used for all sorts of outdoor applications. We can go ahead and test out the water resistance of this material here. As you can see, 100% of the water is flowing off the back, even if I were to let it pool up a little bit. So now looking at the back side of the fabric here, it is repelling 100% of the water here. So I think we're gonna go with this material. Let's go ahead and start taking some measurements for the dimensions of the shower curtain. All of the preliminary dimensions are completed here. They're simply written down on these 3 post-it notes. The panels are going to have 4 little tiny tabs at the top of them, which are going to protrude and have a magnet at the end that actually attaches to the ceiling. And there are a couple of gotchas. Let me explain them real quick. So first one on this panel right here, panel D, that's gonna be right here. The piece has to attach only down to right here on the back portion, and then it has to drop and have more coverage on the front portion. So that's taken into consideration with this little corner cutout. Similar to that, the back panel, C over there, needs to be shorter. There are a couple things that are just the nature of the van. First of which, this wall back there, that C is gonna be facing, is not straight up and down. That's been taken into consideration on both panel B and panel D. So the back sides of panel B and panel D are gonna be triangular. And then the last gotcha is that the roof is also curved. So the little tabs that stick out on the back side over there need to be about 1 inch shorter than the little tabs that stick out on this side. So that's probably super confusing, but I'm hoping that these measurements end up working out. So I am super, super stoked. We have ourselves a little surprise goodie bag here. Inside this goodie bag, we have ourselves the completed shower curtain. I just got this back from the seamstress. I'm super, super psyched about it. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Lots of magnets, that's for sure. They're all sticking to each other. All right, the idea is there. So we have the 4 tabs on the top with the magnets. It's cut to what appear to be the perfect dimensions in terms of the bottom cutout. Pretty decent amount of space if we're looking top down. Hopefully it's gonna be comfortable enough to take showers. The shower curtain cost me $150 to get made, plus the cost of materials, which was roughly 10, 20 bucks. So definitely more than your average shower curtain from Target, but that is the cost of getting custom things made. All right guys, so I am super psyched here. I just taped up the shower curtain for the first time ever. The dimensions lengthwise are perfect. Same thing with the dimensions widthwise. I did ask her to install some magnets on the bottom side of the shower curtain, and I'm gonna put magnets on the wall so that it pulls itself closer to the wall. This shower curtain is just so well made. The seamstress did a really, really good job. To be honest, I'm actually pretty surprised that this worked out as well as it did. A subtle difference here that really, really paid off. These tabs are actually longer than these tabs. That makes it so that the actual shower curtain itself is flat. Coming at you from inside of the shower curtain here. All in all, there's definitely enough room to like maneuver in here. I do have to duck a little bit because I'm too tall. Like if I try and stand up, this is what happens. So I have a little last minute idea here. What I could do is put another magnet on the roof somewhere about here. And then I could, you know, always just tie a magnet to a string on the end of a flashlight or something like this, and then have perfect amount of light in here. So what I am doing to mark the locations on the wooden roof panels is I taped up the corners of the shower curtain here so that the shower curtain is in the perfect spot. And then if I pull back these pieces of tape, you can see I put a little blue dot right at the center of where that magnet was. What we've done next is we've pulled down the curtain itself. You can see the dots are still up there. I've taped strings across the center of each dot, and the idea here is that we do indeed have a perfect rectangle. Now all we need to do is hang a plumb from each one of the corners and ensure that they are the correct distance to the corners of the shower pan down there. Now time for the scary part. We are going to take down the ceiling panels. For those of you who aren't familiar, this entire ceiling is actually attached with magnets. So what I did is I glued these magnets onto the back of the wooden planks, and the magnets stick to the ribs that are in the van's frame up here. It's super simple to get each one of these planks uninstalled. All I have to do is slide it out of its tongue and groove and drop it down, just like that. If you are interested in that magnetic ceiling, there's an entire video on the channel explaining how that was made. You might be wondering why I pulled the entire ceiling off and not just the pieces that need the shower curtain installed. A few of the magnets actually did come off. That being said, you do not need to panic. The amount of magnets that we put on these things, and even with the amount that had become unattached over time, the ceiling was still holding easily. There is a ton of redundancy with the amount of magnets that we use. As time goes on, I'm gonna continue to be honest in terms of how this is going. Definitely subscribe if you're interested in the longevity of this ceiling. Alrighty, so we have our 5 little X's marked, 4 for the corners, and then 1 for that little accessory where we can hang a light bulb or something like that. Now it's time for the very, very scary part and actually drilling the holes in our ceiling. By the way, these Forstner bits are great ways to drill flat bottom holes. The first hole here came out perfectly. It is the perfect depth to accommodate the magnet. I'm like shaking right now, I'm so nervous, but came out pretty dang good. We got all of the holes ready to go. The only other change that I'm making to the ceiling is in the row that's closest to the big magnets that I just drilled. I'm going to add a second magnet to each plank just to kind of reinforce that cross section. Next step here, I am going to sand each one of the magnets. So this is one of the big ones. I have about an 80 grit sandpaper here. I'm just gonna rub it on it like that, as well as get all of the edges. And it should look something like this afterwards. That's really gonna help it stick to the epoxy. Very important step here for each one of the magnets and each one of the sockets that the magnet's gonna go into. You wanna clean it off with something like isopropyl alcohol or acetone. I picked acetone because we're in the middle of COVID-19 and the hardware store was 100% out of isopropyl alcohol. We now have 100% of the planks cleaned off. I placed each one of the magnets next to the piece of blue tape for the open socket that I'm gonna need to put it in. The reason I did that is because I'm using this JB Weld. It's a 5-minute set time. That's why I have it set up here to be as efficient as possible so I can just put some glue in, put a magnet, and move on. We have all of the new magnets 100% glued. They came out great. They are super, super strong. I don't think I could get this thing out of here even if I tried. Something I did this time that I didn't do last time is I used quite a bit more epoxy per magnet. As you can see, it's overflowing on almost every single one of them. I think that's gonna provide quite a stronger bond. It is now time to take all of our planks and put them back into the van. Oh man, I remember when the van looked just like this throughout pretty much the entire build. So if you watched the ceiling video, you might remember that I labeled each one of the planks A, B, C, D, E. They're super, super helpful because these things are just inevitably gonna get out of order as you're shifting them around, and having the source of truth as to where they should be located makes it really, really easy to place them up in the proper position. Good news, we have the ceiling 100% back in its place. It feels stronger than ever. Time for the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and put up the shower curtain and see if it works. Alrighty guys, so this right here is the shower curtain in its final form. It is looking so good. I'm super stoked with how it turned out. Got a little bit of extra room right here for ventilation while I'm sucking out all of that condensation through the fan right there. It lines up perfectly with the outsides of the shower pan. It has enough overlap with the inside of the shower pan so that's actually going to prevent water from splashing. These ceiling magnets hold amazing. They have the perfect amount of force. It takes me a few pounds of force to pull this down, and it holds the curtain with ease. So you're gonna be able to brush up against it You're gonna be able to do your thing in there. It looks great, just aesthetically. I think that's the reason why I did choose the black originally. Let's go ahead and walk inside. So to get in here, all you have to do is lift it up, just like this, and then put it on like you're putting on a shirt. This is what it looks like when you are inside the shower curtain here. As you can see, we do have enough room to spin around. Now that we have the magnets on the side of the back wall over there, it actually feels like there's a decent amount of space in here. This is just absolutely perfect for me because I'm totally gonna be able to wash my entire body, including crouching down and washing my hair. I'm so stoked. This came out exactly how I would have dreamed it. So once we are done with our shower and we have successfully dried off the shower curtain, all we have to do is pull out the lid for the shower pan, flop it back on here. So I am planning on letting this thing drip dry, as well as potentially squeegeeing it down lightly, or maybe just wiping it off on the inside with a towel and simply storing it in the shower pan itself. I'm hoping because this material is synthetic, it's a ripstop nylon, that it won't mold. We'll have to see how that goes over time. We did put the little accessory magnet here where this blue dot is, but unfortunately I ran out of magnets to make a little string that can hold this light here. The coolest part about this magnet install, something that I really wanted, is that when the shower pan is all done and put away, you can't even tell that a shower curtain could be mounted at all. Another cool thing about having these hidden mounting points is that I can use them for other devices as well. I have my little security camera here where I can monitor what's going on in the van from my cell phone when I'm not currently in it. And all I'll have to do is install a magnet on the back there, and that'll stick right to one of the shower curtain mounting points so that it can monitor everything that's going on in the van here. We have successfully completed the shower installation. I cannot believe I am saying this, but the van is 100% complete. We are done with this van build. That was the final thing that we needed to do. And oh my God, I'm like getting emotional just saying that. It has been a year of crazy strenuous work. Tons of learning, tons of mistakes, but we've made it. And don't worry, the van tour will be coming soon. If you are interested in seeing that, definitely slap the subscribe button below and slap that notifications bell so that you get notified when I upload the van tour. Holy crap, guys, this was a journey and a half. All in all, I am super stoked with how the shower came out. It is the perfect balance between having a collapsible shower that's out of the way most of the time when you don't need it, but it is there and it is comfortable and simple enough to use when you do need it. Also, if you are interested in the adventures that we are going to be taking in this van, there will be many more travel vlogs to come. That sums it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.